Welcome back to the Before AGI podcast. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into something pretty crucial to AI, the data flywheel effect.
Absolutely.
You've probably heard how important data is to AI, right?
Oh, yeah. You can't really overstate that.
The data flywheel effect really gets into nitty-gritty of how data actually creates this self-propelling cycle of improvement.
Right.
And why it gives some companies this real edge.
A serious advantage for sure.
So we're going to explore what it is, how it works, why it gives companies that advantage, and also touch on some of the challenges and ethical considerations.
Right.
Because there are always those.
Always.
So whether you're a total tech enthusiast, a professional trying to figure out how this is going to change your field, or you're just curious about how AI is shaping the future, this deep dive is going to give you some seriously valuable insights.
I think so.
Tune in every day at 2 p.m. East African time for more AI discussions.
Love it.
And don't forget to subscribe for more great AI content.
Definitely.
And also be sure to check out my YouTube channel, Ian Oshing AI, for tutorials and further deep dives and discussions.
Awesome.
So let's get started.
All right.
So when we talk about the data flywheel effect in AI, what are we actually talking about?
So it's this self-reinforcing cycle, right?
Okay.
So using data to train AI models improves their performance.
Makes sense.
And then better AI means better applications. So,
Right.
things like smarter recommendations or more helpful chatbots. And those better applications, well, they just attract more users.
Okay. Yeah.
And all those users, they generate even more data.
Right. More interactions, more data points.
More data points.
And then that data is used to further improve the AI.
Exactly. So it's just this beautiful loop.
Right.
This constant upward spiral of more data, better insights, and
It's almost like a snowball effect.
yeah, that's a great way to put it, a snowball effect.
It just keeps getting bigger.
It really does. It gains momentum as it goes.
So is this something unique to AI or?
Well, not really. The concept is actually inspired by general business strategies
Oh, okay.
around building these, self-sustaining growth cycles.
So there's an analogy in the business world.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
You might have heard of the flywheel concept in business.
I think I have vaguely.
It's all about consistent effort building momentum.
Right. So you push, and then eventually it starts.
Exactly. And then it's kind of self-sustaining.
It's spin on its own.
Exactly. And a great example of this is Jeff Bezos at Amazon.
Okay, yeah. Amazon's a
Huge company built on data.
huge company, so that makes sense.
He was a big advocate for this idea.
Of the flywheel?
Yeah, they're using customer data to drive the entire business.
Okay, so they were collecting data on everything.
Everything, what people were buying, what they were looking at.
Wow.
Even how long they spent on certain pages.
And then using that to refine their recommendations there.
Exactly. And to make better decisions about what products to stock.
Business decision.
Everything. It was all driven by data.
Interesting. So how is this data flywheel effect different from, say, a social media platform that just gets more valuable as more people join?
Right. So that's a network effect.
Okay.
And it's different.
So that's a different concept.
It is different.
Okay.
So with network effects, the product's value goes up directly
Okay.
as more people use it.
Okay, so like a Facebook, the more friends you have,
Exactly. The more valuable it is to you.
the more valuable it is.
Right.
But the data flywheel effect is about internal improvement.
Right. It's about how a company uses data to improve its AI and ultimately to make its products or services better.
So it's not just about more users, it's about
Exactly. It's about better products,
better AI.
better AI, leading to better products, and that attracts more users.
Right, so it's kind of an indirect
It is indirect.
effect.
Yeah, you could say it's a data network effect in a way.
Yeah.
But the main thing is this internal flywheel,
Right.
powered by data-driven optimization.
Okay, so let's get into how these AI applications actually generate this new data that feeds the flywheel.
Sure.
What are the mechanisms at play here?
So one major way is just simple user interactions.
Okay.
Every time you search for something online, create content on a platform,
Okay.
like a social media post,
Right.
or click on a recommended product, or, even chat with an AI assistant,
Yeah.
you're feeding the beast.
So all of that is data.
It's all data.
Wow.
And it's incredibly valuable data.
So like when I'm shopping on Amazon and I click on a product or
Exactly. Amazon's algorithms are learning from that.
buy something.
They're figuring out what you're interested in.
And then using that to make suggestions for me or for
Exactly. And not just for you, but for other users with similar tastes.
other people.
It's all about personalization.
Okay, and this happens all over the place, not just Amazon.
Oh, yeah. Netflix does the same thing with your viewing history.
So the shows I watch
Influence the recommendations you see.
are used to suggest other shows.
Exactly. It's all powered by data.
So it's like my digital footprint is
In
actually
a way, it is.
training these AIs.
It's contributing to the training process. Absolutely.
That's pretty wild.
It is. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
So what other ways is this data being generated?
Well, another big one is generative AI models.
Okay, I've heard of those.
So unlike traditional AI that analyzes data
Okay.
to, classify things or make predictions,
Right.
generative AI actually creates new content.
Wow.
So things like ChatGPT or
Yeah.
Dolly, they can generate text, images, even music.
Oh, wow.
And all of that newly generated content that's fresh data.
So the output of one AI is the
Exactly. It can be used to train other AI systems.
input for another.
It's AI teaching AI in a way.
Wow, that's fascinating.
It is. It's like a digital apprenticeship program.
And then there's this other thing I've heard of, data augmentation.
Yeah, that's another interesting technique.
So how does that work?
So basically, you use algorithms to create variations of existing data.
Okay, give me an example.
So say you're training an AI to recognize cats,
Okay,
but you only have a limited number of cat pictures.
right. Not enough to train a really good model.
Exactly. So with data augmentation, you can take those cat pictures
Uh-huh.
and slightly rotate them or brighten them or crop them in different ways.
You're making more data from the data you have.
Exactly. You're artificially expanding your data set.
And that helps the model.
It does. It makes the AI more robust and better at generalizing.
Okay, so we have data coming from users, we have AI creating data,
Mm-hmm.
and we have AI sort of remixing existing data
That's a good way to put
to
it.
make more data.
Yeah.
So how does all of this new data actually improving the AI models?
Right. So this is where the magic happens.
Okay,
All this new data, it's fed back into the AI models
okay,
through a process called retraining
okay.
or fine-tuning.
So the AI is constantly learning.
It is. It's adapting to new information
Wow.
and improving its performance over time.
So it's not just a static program, it's constantly evolving.
Exactly. It's constantly evolving.
Based on the data it's receiving.
Exactly. And a great example of this is ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
It gets better with every interaction.
Really? So every time someone asks it a question,
It's learning from those prompts and responses.
it's getting smarter.
It's getting smarter.
And this leads to better AI applications.
Oh, absolutely. Retraining leads to improved accuracy,
Okay.
fewer errors, and better overall performance.
Makes sense.
AI models are exposed to more data.
Right.
They get better at understanding nuances, making predictions.
So like voice assistants like Alexa or Google Assistant.
Exactly. They've gotten so much better over time.
Yeah, they have.
And a big part of that is this continuous learning
Wow.
driven by user data.
So it's not just about the quantity of data, it's also about the quality.
Absolutely. You can't just throw any old data at an AI.
Right. Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. You need high-quality data to get high-quality results.
So how do companies ensure that the data they're using?
Right. So before new data could be used to retrain a model,
Yeah.
it often needs to be cleaned and validated.
So they're removing errors, inconsistencies, biases.
Exactly. You don't want to train your AI on biased data.
Right, because then you'd get a biased AI.
Exactly. So having robust data collection and validation techniques,
Essential.
it's absolutely essential for a healthy data flywheel.
So the AI is getting smarter, it's making better predictions. How
Yeah.
does that then attract even more users to keep the whole cycle going?
Right. So when AI applications become more accurate,
Yeah.
more reliable, more personalized,
Mhm.
they naturally become more appealing to users.
Right, because if it's actually helping me,
Exactly. If it's solving your problem,
no, use it more.
if it's giving you what you need, you're going to stick around.
Exactly.
So think about those product recommendations that actually work.
Yeah, or chatbots that actually answer your questions.
Exactly. When AI is doing its job, well, people are drawn to it.
And as more people use it,
They generate even more data.
right, which makes the AI even better.
Exactly. It's a beautiful, virtuous cycle.
And so on and so forth.
So on and so forth.
That's the data flywheel effect.
That's the data flywheel effect in action.
So this sounds like a huge competitive advantage
Oh, it is.
for companies.
It's a massive advantage.
So if you have this system that's constantly improving itself,
Mhm.
it must be really hard for new companies to compete
It is incredibly difficult to compete with a well-established data flywheel.
because they have so much more data.
They have so much data, and they're constantly improving their AI.
Right, so they're just getting further ahead.
It's like a snowball rolling downhill.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting bigger and faster.
So can you give me some specific examples of companies that are using this
Oh, sure.
to their advantage?
So a great example is Nvidia.
Okay, Nvidia, the graphics card company.
Yeah, they make GPUs.
Right.
So they've been using AI for chip design for a long time.
Oh, wow.
And they've accumulated a ton of data on chip designs.
So they use AI to design chips.
They do. And the data from those designs is used to further improve their AI.
So it's like a cycle.
It is a cycle. It's a data flywheel.
And that gives them an edge.
It gives them a huge edge in the GPU market.
Okay, what about other industries?
Sure. So Netflix is another great example.
Netflix, the streaming service.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have millions of subscribers.
Right.
And they collect data on everything those subscribers watch.
Oh, wow.
So what they watch when they watch it, how long they watch it.
So they're using that to make recommendations.
They are. And they're also using it to decide what content to create.
Interesting, so they can see what people like.
Exactly. And what people aren't watching.
And what's missing.
Exactly. And that data-driven approach is a big part of their success.
Okay, so they're really using data to drive their business.
They are. It's a core part of their strategy.
What about other examples?
Sure. So another interesting one is Klarna.
Klarna.
They're a financial technology company.
Okay.
And they use AI extensively in their customer service operations.
So like chatbots and things like that.
Exactly. They have AI-powered chatbots that handle customer inquiries, and they train those chatbots on all the data from past customer interactions.
So the chatbots are constantly learning.
They are. Every interaction makes them smarter.
And that improves their customer service.
Exactly. And it saves them money.
Because they don't need as many human customer service reps?
Exactly. So it's a win-win.
Wow, so the data flywheel effect is really giving these companies a big advantage.
It is. It's a powerful force in the business world.
So if you're a new company trying to enter a market where these established players have these big data flywheels going.
Yeah, good luck with that.
What are your chances?
It's tough. It's really tough.
So what are some of the challenges that these new companies face?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is just getting enough data to get started.
Right, because the big companies already have so much.
They have years, sometimes decades of data.
What?
So it's hard for a new company to catch up.
Yeah, it's like trying to compete with a giant snowball.
It is. You're starting with a tiny snowball.
It's already rolling down the hill.
And they have a huge one that's gaining momentum.
Right, so it's not just about the data, it's about the momentum.
Exactly. It's about the momentum.
And that's already built up.
It's hard to break into that cycle.
And then on top of that, you have to convince people to use your product.
Right. Because if you don't have users, you don't have data.
So it's like a chicken and egg problem.
It is a bit of a chicken and egg problem.
You need data to build a good AI, but you need users to get the data.
You got it.
So what can these new companies do to try to overcome these challenges?
Well, one thing that you can do is focus on niche markets.
Okay, so find a specific area where the big companies aren't already dominating.
Exactly. Find an area where you can gather data quickly.
Okay, makes sense.
Another strategy is to leverage open source AI models.
Okay, so use models that are already out there.
Exactly. And then you don't need as much data to get started.
Right, because the model's already been trained.
Exactly. It's like getting a head start.
And then there's this thing called synthetic data.
Oh, yeah. Synthetic data is becoming really important.
So what is that?
So it's basically artificial data that's created to mimic real-world data.
So it's not real data, but it's similar enough to train an AI?
Exactly. It's like a simulation.
Interesting.
And it can be really helpful for bootstrapping your AI models.
So these new companies have some options.
They do. It's not impossible, but it's definitely challenging.
So this whole flywheel effect, it seems like it could lead to some serious market concentration.
You could.
Where just a few giant companies control everything.
It's definitely a possibility.
Because they have the data advantage?
They do. And that advantage just keeps growing.
So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, the rich get richer, the data rich get data richer.
And that could stifle innovation.
It could.
Because new companies can't compete.
It's a valid concern for sure.
So these data flywheels, they can create these data moats.
That's a good way to put it. Data moats.
So it's like a castle with a moat around it.
Exactly. It's a barrier to entry.
And the moat is made of data.
Made of data. And it's a very effective moat.
So this is a pretty big deal.
It is. It's something we need to be aware of as AI becomes more pervasive.
Yeah, because if just a few companies control all the data, that gives them a lot of power.
It does, and it raises some important ethical questions.
Yeah, we should probably talk about that.
Definitely.
So we've talked about how powerful the data flywheel effect is. But like with any powerful technology, there are ethical considerations.
Of course there are.
So what are some of the ethical concerns?
Well, one big one is bias amplification.
Okay, bias in the data.
Yeah. So if your initial data is biased and you use that to train your AI, well, the AI is going to be biased too.
And as the flywheel spins,
that bias just gets amplified.
So it gets worse and worse.
It can get really bad.
So that's a serious problem.
It is. It can lead to unfair outcomes.
Yeah, especially in areas like hiring or loan applications.
Exactly, where AI is being used to make decisions that impact people's lives.
So how do we mitigate that bias?
Well, you need to start with the data.
Okay.
You need to carefully curate your data.
Right.
Remove bias where possible. And you need to constantly evaluate your AI systems.
To make sure they're not perpetuating bias.
Exactly. It's an ongoing process.
Right, so it's not a one-time fix.
No, it's something you have to be mindful of throughout the entire AI lifecycle.
And then there's the issue of data quality.
Oh yeah, data quality is crucial.
So if you have bad data,
your AI is going to be bad.
garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. So you need to have robust data cleaning and validation processes to make sure you're feeding your AI good data.
And then there's the concern about market concentration.
Yeah, we talked about that a bit earlier.
Right, where just a few companies control everything.
Exactly. And that can stifle innovation.
Because new companies can't compete.
And it can lead to abuse of power.
Right.
So there's something we need to be very careful about.
So are there any solutions to that?
Well, there are things we can do.
Okay.
Like promoting data sharing and interoperability.
Make it easier for companies to share data with each other.
Exactly. That could help level the playing field a bit.
And then there are data privacy and security concerns.
Oh yeah, those are huge.
Because these companies are collecting so much data on us.
Massive amounts of data.
So they need to be responsible with that data.
Absolutely. They need to protect our privacy.
Right.
And they need to keep our data secure.
And that's not always easy.
It's not. It's a constant challenge.
So what's the takeaway here?
I think the takeaway is that the data flywheel effect is a powerful force. It's driving a lot of the progress we're seeing in AI, but it's also creating some challenges.
Ethical challenges.
Ethical challenges, business challenges.
So we need to be aware of these challenges, and we need to find ways to mitigate them.
Absolutely. We need to be proactive.
So this has been a really fascinating deep dive into the data flywheel effect.
It has. It's a complex topic.
It is, but I think we've covered the main points.
I think so.
So for our tech enthusiasts out there, this should give you a good understanding of how data pipelines work and how AI models are developed and improved.
It's all about the data.
And for professionals, this should highlight the importance of data acquisition.
Absolutely. Data is a valuable asset.
And the potential for creating competitive advantage through AI.
It's a game changer.
So the data flywheel effect is a double-edged sword.
It is.
It can be used for good or for bad.
Exactly. It's up to us to make sure it's used responsibly.
So we need to be vigilant.
We do.
We need to be aware of the potential risks, and we need to work to mitigate those risks.
Absolutely.
So what other questions do you have about the data flywheel effect or its implications for the future of AI? We encourage you to delve deeper into these topics.
Absolutely.
And let us know what you think.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from you.
So thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tune in tomorrow at 2 p.m. East African time for another insightful discussion into the world of AI.
Can't wait.
And don't forget to subscribe for more great AI content.
Definitely.
And be sure to check out my YouTube channel, Ian Oching AI. That's O7HIMG for tutorials and further explorations.
Awesome.
Until next time.
See you then.